Committee on Public Safety is now called to order. Pursuant to applicable law and our determination that attendance by remote means is necessary because an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent due to the declared public health disaster caused by COVID-19, this meeting is conducted by video conference. We will have a roll call to establish a quorum. Please note that a yes vote or present vote may be deemed to be a yes vote when quorum roll call is used as a reference for later items that will be called. Will the aldermen and alderwomen please unmute your microphones? And for all non-committee members that are present and logged in, your presence and login will be counted as a present vote as well. Vice Chair Osterman.
Present.
Alderman Sawyer.
Here.
Alderman Mitchell.
Present.
Alderman Thompson.
Present, but muted. Present.
Alderman Lopez. Alderman Curtis. Alderman Scott. Alderman Irving.
Yeah, Alderman Irving is present.
Alderman Reboris. Alderman Mitz.
Present, Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Sposato.
Nick Sposato is present.
Alderman Nugent.
Present. Happy day late birthday, Chairman.
Thank
The
you.
early day of day late.
Alderman Reboris is present.
Alderman Reboris is present. Alderman Napolitano. Alderman Smith. Alderman Tunney.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Present.
Alderman Martin.
Present.
Alderman Silverstein.
Present.
We have 14 members present. We do have a quorum. There are currently no speakers that have signed up for public speaking. We have two items on the agenda this morning. The appointment, item number 1, A2021-176, the appointment of Stephen Block as a member of the police board, and A2021-177, the appointment of Mariley Kuzak as a member of the police board. Prior to that, each of you should have received a copy of the Rule 45 report on November 23rd for a meeting that was held on November 12th. Could I get a motion to accept? And I'm sorry, are there any questions with regard to the Rule 45 report? There being no questions or comments, could I get a motion for the passage of the Rule 45 report by the same roll call vote as to determine a quorum?
So moved.
So moved by, I believe that was Alderman Sposato. Oh, Alderman Thompson.
Either one. Doesn't matter.
Hearing no objections, so ordered. The two items that we have, items 2021-176 and 2021-177, the appointment of Stephen Block and the appointment of Mariley Kuzak will be heard together. However, we will be voting separately. For those committee members and council members wishing to make comments or statements with regard to, or questions with regard to the appointment, please use the raise your hand function, and I'll call you in the order in which your hand has been raised, beginning with committee members first. But we do have both members that are present and wish to make opening statements. Each of you should have received by email resumes with regard to these appointments. We will begin opening statements with Mr. Stephen Block, followed by Mr. Kuzak. I'm sorry.
Good morning, Chairman Taliaferro, Vice Chairman Osterman, and members of the committee. My name is Stephen Block, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today as the committee considers my appointment to the Chicago Police Board. I have lived in Chicago since graduating from college in 1996, and I currently live in North Center with my family. As the father of 3 children, the safety of our communities and having an effective, professional, and trusted police department are of critical importance to me. That is why I did not hesitate when Mayor Lightfoot asked if I would consider serving as a member of the police board. Before joining a law firm in Chicago, I was a federal prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago for almost 10 years. As a federal prosecutor assigned to the narcotics and public corruption units, I worked with dozens of dedicated and talented police officers and federal agents. Together, we investigated and prosecuted significant cases targeting violent street gangs, drug cartels, and organized crime organizations. Our city is undeniably safer because of the efforts of these law enforcement officers I was privileged to work with. Unfortunately, as a prosecutor, I also prosecuted police officers who tarnished their badge by committing crimes and abusing the trust placed in them by the people of Chicago. Such conduct not only hurts the communities these officers are sworn to serve, but it also hurts the thousands of dedicated police officers whose jobs are made harder by the actions of. Mr. Chairman, it is a critical time for police accountability in our city. The City Council's recent efforts, as well as the city's steps to implement the consent decree, have created an opportunity to restore public trust in law enforcement. If I am confirmed as a member of the police board, I will do my part by fairly and impartially evaluating the evidence in police disciplinary cases and making decisions based solely on the evidence presented. I thank you for the opportunity to address you today and for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Block. Mariley Cusack.
Yes, thank you. And good morning, Chairman Taliaferro, Vice Chairman Osterman, and members of the Committee on Public Safety. My name is Mariley Cusack, and I would like to begin by thanking you for allowing me to appear before you today to seek your support for my appointment to the police board. First, a little bit about me. I'm originally from Haiti, but I was raised in Guinea in Northwestern Africa and in France. I moved to the United States as a teenager, was educated primarily on the East Coast, and moved to Chicago in 1985 after graduating from law school. I've lived here ever since. Since moving here, I've served on the boards of the Lincoln Park Zoo, the Great Books Foundation, and the Smart Museum of Art at the University of Chicago. I'm an attorney and I've been practicing law for over 30 years. While I currently work in the private sector, I have spent almost half of my career in public service. I was with the Securities and Exchange Commission for 7 years, where I worked on a variety of cases protecting the investment public and making sure that there was maximum transparency and integrity in the markets. I was also the chief legal counsel of the Illinois Gaming Board for 5 years, where again, my role was in maintaining transparency and protecting the public and working towards reinforcing confidence in an industry facing many challenges. I hope to continue my service to the public by serving on the police board. The relationship between Chicago's residents and its police force is strained, but I believe that the board is uniquely positioned to improve the public trust and confidence in our law enforcement officers. If I am confirmed to the board, I will assist in that effort by fairly and impartially evaluating each matter before the board to ensure that all involved, be they civilians or sworn officers, receive a fair decision rooted in the evidence presented. I thank you for your time and your consideration today, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cusack. Alderman Lopez.
Thank you, Chairman. First off, I wanted to be counted toward for the purposes of quorum. And two, I would just like to know what is the current ethnic breakdown of the board as is.
Max Caproni, the executive director of the police board, is here with us, also as a witness. Max, can you answer that question? And Alderman Lopez, could you clarify just a little bit when you mean breakdown? Is that racial makeup or gender makeup?
Both.
Both.
Please.
Okay.
And good morning, Chairman and members of the City Council. If I could just have a couple of minutes to make sure that I have that information handy and accurate, I would very much appreciate that.
Thank you. No problem, Max. Go ahead, Alderman Lopez. He'll get that information for you as we're still on today, and so that you'll have that information. You can go ahead with your questions.
Oh, that was my only question.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll get that information in a moment.
Thank you.
Chairwoman Mitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question for both the appointees, and I would like to know, as it stands today, what would be the one thing that I'm sure they've thought about that they would like to implement or would like to make recommendations if they were appointed to the board?
And we'll begin that answer with Mr. Block.
Alderman Smith, thank you for the question. In my review of the board's work and what I've seen as a citizen on the outside, the thing that has struck me the most is the importance of transparency and making sure that there is access to the decisions of the police board and that the decisions that are rendered are comprehensible, accessible, and well-reasoned. I think the board has taken a substantial step toward that. As a silver lining of the pandemic, hearings being remotely live streamed and Zoomed, so citizens can appear without having to physically undergo the burden of getting to the actual location. I think that's a great development. And if I'm confirmed with the board, I would like to continue those steps and think about other ways to ensure accessibility and transparency.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would echo the same thing. I think it's simply important to be very unbiased, focused, listen to the evidence, and make good, well-reasoned decisions. And that's really what I hope to focus on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairwoman Mitz. Alderman Scott and Alderman Curtis have both been added to the roll call for purposes of the quorum. Chairman Ariel Reborius.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to first of all say good morning to Mr. Block and Ms. Cusack. And I enjoyed the conversation I had with both of you just recently. But I want to thank you both for accepting a very challenging position with the police board. And all we ask is for its members to have an unbiased position when it comes to community policing in a fair and transparent process. And I want to thank you both for hopefully accepting this challenge and this responsibility. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Caproni, do you have a response to Alderman Lopez's question from earlier?
I do, Chairman. So currently there are 7 members on the board. There are, of course, 2 vacancies. Of the 7 members, 3 of the board members are Black, 2 are Latino, 2 are white, and 4 of the board members are male and 3 are female.
Alderman Lopez, do you have any questions? Any further questions with regard to that response?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Lopez. It looks like there are no further hands that have been raised. Mr. Block and Ms. Cusack, as my colleague, Chairman Reborius stated, I too want to thank you for what I like to say is stepping up to the plate, during a difficult time in law enforcement. And that's also, just to say, public service is not easy. And the cases that you'll have before you are not easy cases. But based on your resumes and based on your experience, I know that the city is in good hands, along with the other board members that are presently serving. So I want to thank you for your service to the city and the residents of this great city for stepping up to the plate to serve the city in this capacity, especially during a difficult time that we're in. So with that being said, there being no further questions, I'd like to
Move
put
to
these.
pass.
Okay, well, let's have them individually voted on. The first item
Okay.
for vote, A2021-176, which is the appointment of Stephen Block as a member of the police board. Chairman Mintz has moved passage of this item by the last most favorable roll call used to determine a quorum. Hearing no objections, so moved and so ordered. The next item, A2021-177, the appointment of Ms. Mariley Kusek as a member of the police board. Can I get a motion for the passage of that item by affirmative vote of all members present for the roll call?
So moved, Chairman. Alderman Curtis.
So moved by Alderman Curtis. Hearing no objections, so ordered. I'd like to congratulate both Mr. Block and Ms. Kusek on your appointment. This item will be reported out at the next meeting of the City Council, which is scheduled for December 15, 2021. Again, thank you both for your service. There being no further items before the committee and no further hands raised, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting by vote? So moved by Alderman Lopez. Hearing no objections, so ordered. Everyone have a good day and a good weekend, and I will continue celebrating my birthday. So you guys take care. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You look more than a day older.
Man, you look